Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good evening. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. We got some things to get into. I'm sorry, guys, that it's a late show, but I'm trying to get the conversation in while I can. It's been a very busy day. Okay, had some internet issues and all this stuff. It's just been one of those days where just had to take care of a bunch of things. Had a bunch of the cable guy or the internet guy here and all that. It just took up a lot of my day. And then, of course, everything else. You know, life be lifing, right? But we got a lot to talk about. There's some things that are going on that we have got to get into. Trump, man, So we got some things we got to get into. We got a lot to talk about, okay? There's a lot going on, as you guys already know. If you guys haven't been watching the news lately, I think they're draining the swamp right now. I have no clue anymore, okay? We got everything from Trump refusing to take questions from anybody about anything right now. He has been radio silent, basically, on social media. Maybe he's gone back on since the last I checked, but he's been avoiding everything like the plague. You got Matt Gaetz in all kinds of trouble, okay? You got Megyn Kelly losing her doggone mind, doing what the hell, talk about what the hell, all right? And then, of course, you got this interview with Michael Wolff that we definitely have got to jump into. So we got a lot to get into, a lot to talk about. So please do me a favor before we get into everything. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button. If you're watching on these other platforms, please and thank you. Make sure you hit that follow button. If you're watching on Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, make sure you follow. Make sure you are also subscribed right here on this main channel, right here on YouTube, okay? If you are watching here on YouTube, that'd be greatly appreciated. Subscribe. Check out my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips and Pascal Raw. Make sure you're subscribed to those channels as well. Please and thank you. All right? Hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever we upload, because honestly, it's random, okay? So ring that bell. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. And also, I'm raising a little bit of money. Got a GoFundMe pinned to the top of the chat, and it's in the link down in the description box down below. Please go check it out if you can. That'd be greatly appreciated, okay? Would really appreciate the support. Got some new things. Got some things coming up around the bend that I would really love to be able to utilize that rig in the very near future. So we're this close, y'all. I'll explain here a little bit later on in the show. All right, but let's get into some conversations, okay? Well. Good evening, everybody. Happy Thursday night to all y'all. Some of y'all, Thursday night is your Friday night. You know what I'm saying? Some y'all party on Thursday night like it's your Saturday night, all right? So hopefully you're enjoying your time. Just, arrive alive. You know what I'm saying? Please drink responsibly and all that crap. And I'm impressed if you're drinking while watching my show. That's all I'm going to say. You know what I mean? Hopefully I'm that person that you feel that comfortable with, where you can lay back, chill, have a libation, where you're not operating heavy machinery. Okay? I just want to make that abundantly clear. Make sure you're not operating any heavy machinery. Okay? And get home alive. All right? I know some of you guys are like, some of you girls are like, the espressos, those espresso martinis. You know what I mean? And I still don't get the hype. I don't get it, but I'm a guy. So it's not like I'm sitting here trying to figure out the hype behind mother-loving espresso martinis. You know what I'm saying? But hey, Do you boo boo if you like it? You know what I mean, fellas? If you like it too, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Get your swole on and down you some espresso martinis. You know what I mean, with the stemware, with the pinky out. I don't care. Let your freak flag fly freely, baby. Okay, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? This is the world that we live in now. Okay, this is what we live in now. We should be able to live freely and happily, right? Without judgment. But unfortunately, we live in a world where there's nothing but judgment all day long. It's unfortunate. But as long as you're around with your friends that don't mind you, fellas, especially you fellas, you know what I'm saying? Rocking stemware, okay? Then you're around great company and you're lucky, you know? Because you could truly be yourself. It's rare. It's very rare to find people like that. Cherish them with all your heart. Okay? Don't forget to do that. But anyway, I don't know why we're talking about espresso martinis. Still no matter what, there's no way to segue into this. You know what I'm saying? There's no way to segue into this conversation. Let me explain. So if you didn't know what's going on lately, Epstein emails have just been coming out like a spirit from the grave, okay? Like summoning from the crypt, okay? Epstein's emails dropped like it was hot. Thousands, tens of thousands of emails yesterday. At first, I was like, damn, it's only 3. Oh, damn, it's only 3. But then later on in the day, we found out over tens of thousands of emails, and my damn, that there's only 3. I was like, damn, there's more than 3? And there's thousands, y'all. Do you understand? Thousands. He had a lot to say. We had a lot of time on his hands, I'm sure, while being locked up and everything. But still, there's still thousands of emails, even before he was even locked up, that have been unearthed. And have been out here for everyone to see. Now, what's interesting is that let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it a bean, okay? It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. It doesn't matter if you are MAGA till I die, right? Or America First, or if you are hardcore left, or moderate, or somebody in the in between. You know what I'm saying? Just sitting there, floating around, just trying to be cool. You know what I mean? You're the social butterfly, right? You hang out with the theater nerds and you hang out with the jocks. You get the best of both worlds, right? You get a little bit of artsy fartsy stuff, and then you get the, you know what I mean, the football talk, right? Touchdown, stuff like that, right? So you just get to float around, and everyone gets along with you. You know what I'm saying? You a Pisces, that's why. You a Pisces. But other than that, outside of that, okay, you get along with everybody, right? Doesn't matter where you are in this spectrum. Trump is screwed. Trump is screwed. Doesn't matter if you're hardcore MAGA, in between, in the middle, or left. We can all agree that these emails look really, really bad for Trump. I get it. Some people out here are going to say, this is a witch hunt. It's a damn hoax. MAGA. Or America First. Whatever the hell it is now. I don't even know what it is anymore. Okay, I guess the young Republicans now are saying America First, and the older cats are saying MAGA. I don't know what it is anymore. I don't understand 6-7. Okay? Damn it. 6-7. Okay? What is it? The other thing about the toilet? Something like skibbity toilet, or something stupid like skibbity doo-wop, skloopity doo. 6-7. What is it? Okay, what is it? But moving on, I don't know if it's America First or if it's MAGA. I just don't. whatever. Okay. The guys with the red hats. Okay. Period. Doesn't matter if you're on that side. Doesn't matter if you're hardcore left. Out here saying, defund the police or whatever crazy stuff that the left is saying nowadays. Okay. I can't keep up with anything anymore. I'm getting old. All right. But for a fact, we can all come to the middle. We can all go to the table that is titled Trump is screwed right now. Or actually, let me water it down just a tad. Okay? Let me just water it down just a tad. Okay? Trump's in deep doo-doo. No, that might be a little bit too intense. How about this? Things aren't looking so good for Trump right now. Is that better? I think that's better. Yeah. I think that's better. Okay? He's a little bit in trouble. Okay? And that there's no argument here. These emails aren't so great. But let me just say this, because I know some of y'all are going to be mad, okay? Some of y'all mad already. I already know you guys are fuming behind that QWERTY keyboard, okay? Or behind that iPhone or that Android. Why an Android? But anyway, okay? I'm kidding. Rock whatever phone you want, okay? It's your right as an American or as an Irishman or a Argentinian. Wherever you're watching this show, rock whatever phone you want, okay? But here it is. You really can't deny these emails are bad, but then also at the same time, okay? Here's the thing. The emails do not show, and this is going to make you guys, the ones that are going like, Margo! I just want to let you guys know that it doesn't prove any wrongdoing on his part. I know. Because some people on the left are going to be mad now too. Now I just angered the people in the blue. Okay, I just angered the blue shirts. Okay, just made the red shirts kind of happy. They're like, oh yeah, Pascal, yeah, exactly, mother lover. And then the blue shirts are now mad. They're throwing down their hats. Okay, they're kicking the dirt. How dare you say what you said right there, Pascal? What the hell are you talking about? But that's a fact. As some of y'all say, facts not feelings, brother. Right? So here's the thing. These emails are bad. They say that he's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. They say that he's absolutely out his damn mind. They say that he plays dirty. But here's the thing. Didn't we already know that? Didn't we all already know that? I'm just saying right now, the emails that are out that they've talked about and they've shown a bunch of stuff. There are some things in there that are very interesting. Of course, I will be honest. I have not had the whole time to read 20 some odd thousand freaking emails. Have you? Okay. From what I have heard or from what I have read, and also have heard from other sources as well, I have yet to hear anything where he has broken a crime. I'm just letting you guys know. Now, there are 1,000 more other emails to get through, but I have yet to see anything where it is him caught red-handed, hand in the cookie jar, okay? So far, I have not seen that. So right now, nothing is saying he has done bad, like breaking laws. Okay? But here's the thing. The stuff that he has, that Epstein is saying about him, is not great. They are not good. Okay? They are not good. All right? Also, it does prove positive that he knew everything about what Epstein was doing. There's also emails saying things about them still corresponding with each other, even during the time that Trump said, I have nothing to do with him anymore. I kicked him out. I don't rock with him no more. Seriously. He has said that. He said that. Now, here's the thing. Denise just said, wow, come on, Pascal. Spending time with victim. Here's the thing, though. Spending time with victim does not say what he did, though. I need to make that abundantly clear. Yes, don't get mad at me, because every lawyer will say the same doggone thing. I'm not a lawyer, but you know what I'm saying. Every person will look at that and go, but is there a crime that was committed by him being in the same room with somebody? Now, if that victim is not Virginia Giuffre, then we got another conversation. Then we got to start asking questions. But if it is Virginia Giuffre, that is that alleged victim, because let's be real. Let me remind you, Caroline Levitt, she went out and said, oh, the victim that you guys are talking about there, they redacted Virginia Giuffre's name. They redacted to make the Democrats made it so it looked like somebody else is somebody else's name, when Virginia Giuffre has said that she had a fine, non-criminal experience with Trump. So here's the thing. Either that redacted name is the name of another victim that he spent hours with, or it's Virginia Giuffre. And if Virginia Giuffre has said countless times that nothing bad, nothing nefarious happened between her and Trump, I take her word for it. I believe her. Just like I believe that the things that happened to her with Prince Andrew and Epstein and God knows who else, I believe those stories. But she said everybody but Trump. I think that's a massive deal. Either Caroline Levitt is lying through her damn teeth and threw out Virginia Giuffre's name in there, did quick thinking, and is lying through her teeth and threw her name in there just because, or that redacted name is an actual victim. So that's still 50-50 in that situation. And you would hope that the likes of Caroline Levitt would not lie, right? Now, if there is an unredacted version of it and it actually does say Virginia Giuffre, then there, see, boom goes the dynamite, right? There's the proof. Don't get me wrong. If there is a moment where he has spent time with victims and they actually say that on paper in these emails, at least just in these email sakes, right? And he does some sort of crime that's depicted or described in that email, oh, we going to town. But right now, he is not caught red-handed in these emails breaking laws, breaking the law. Okay? Don't get me wrong. He's in a lot of trouble. Let me just say this. He's already in a lot of trouble. Like, I'm not trying to argue. I'm not trying to sit there and say, oh, no, he's not in trouble. No, the mother love is in absolute trouble. He is screwed, y'all. He's absolutely screwed because he lied to the public. He lied to the American people. We should all be on the same page on that. Even the ones that are like, America first. Anybody, left or right, we all should be meeting in the middle and being like, no, this is disgusting and wrong. And yes, local trees, yo, what's up, man? He is still out here saying that this is fake news and this is a hoax. What? House Democrats, the Oversight Committee Democrats, they had time to comb through thousands upon thousands upon thousands of emails and then put it out here. You mean to tell me that they just went to ChatGPT and said, hey, you mind just writing up a whole bunch of emails in the voice of Epstein, just sprinkle in Trump's name every once in a while, if you don't mind, okay? And while you're at it, don't make it seem like he committed any crimes. What? When they say, hey, ChatGPT, can you make a couple thousand emails written in the voice of Jeffrey Epstein? And while you're at it, can you throw Trump's name in there and have him commit a whole bunch of crimes? Come on now. Come on now. Come on. Think about it for a second, y'all. I love y'all, but I'm saying think about it for a second. These emails are absolutely 110% authentic. They are real. Why would they go out of their way? Why would they go out of their way to fabricate thousands of emails? Oh, by the way, let me just say this also. This is a big deal too. Oh, big deal. Okay, Miss Caroline Levitt, right? So you realize that in her response, her immediate guttural, shooting from the hip response, she threw Virginia Giuffre's name in there. She exposed that redacted name. But then the other thing is something that she missed out on. She had an opportunity to deny those emails. She had an opportunity to say that those emails are not real. But did she ever say that those emails were fake? No, she did not. She didn't. No, negatory. Okay? She didn't do that. She had an opportunity to say that in the thing. This whole email, all these emails are absolutely fake. She didn't do that. Now, did she? She didn't. So interesting, don't you think? That she goes and does that instantly. And within what she said in the first video that she, or not first video, first tweet or written statement, she had an opportunity right then and there to say the whole thing is a fugazi. All of it's fake. And she didn't do that. Now, did she? She did not. Not once. By the way, even Trump, he's not denying it. He's not saying that these emails are fake. He's just saying everything's a hoax. He's still not directly addressing the emails that were written about him. I think that's very interesting, right? So, like I said, Trump is in some serious trouble. And what's very interesting right now is that he has been radio silent. Suddenly, he's pretty much in his fifis. Yeah, he's kind of in his feelings. Usually, this is the guy who usually is online, posting tweets, going unhinged, maybe going scorched earth on certain things, right? On things that he wants to, let's get the government back open again. This shutdown is ridiculous because of the Democrats, all that stuff, right? He said a few things. He said this whole thing's a hoax because, and it's all, it's all been concocted and put together by the Democrats, these evil Democrats, these damn dummies, right? He said all those things. And then all of a sudden he just went radio silent. Why? Then he wants to start wars with Venezuela. I'm not kidding. This is real. We talked about it in the short. You need to go check out that video. Okay. Like I said, make sure you hit that notification bell, set it to all, and watch those shorts because I'm giving you guys very concise information in 3 minutes or less. Most of the time, less than 2.5 minutes. But he's literally throwing everything at the wall. So now he's trying to start a war with Venezuela because of the Fenty, right? Pretty insane. Now, don't get me wrong. There should be a war on, on that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're back in the 80s. You know what I mean? Like a war on crack, but now it's Fenty. You know what I'm saying? I can't say the full word or these platforms don't like it. Okay. But you feel me, right? But now I feel like we're back in the 80s. Now it's like the Fenty is taking our kids' lives, right? And now he's just booming boats. So now he wants to strike Venezuela. Not a lie. That is true. Okay? He wants to boom, boom, bombs over Venezuela. Okay, that kind of works. But you know what I'm saying? Okay? Don't pull your thing out unless you're trying to bang. Bombs over Venezuela. I don't know, but you know what I'm talking about. He wants to drop it like it's hot. Big time. In Venezuela. Why? Could it be a distraction? Let me tell you, Mr. President Peace. I said, Mr. President Peace, the one who stops wars in other countries, is now poking the bear. Well, poking the war bear to start some ish with Venezuela. ¿Por qué? Do they speak Spanish? Do they speak Spanish there? Is it like Venezuelan or Portuguese or something crazy? I don't know. But ¿por qué? We're just going to go with that. ¿Por qué? Why? Why start that now? He's trying to start ish with Nigeria too, baby. Nigeria. Why? It makes no sense. Like 6'7". It makes no earthly sense. The hell does 6'7" mean? But I digress. Oh, it's Spanish, but definitely slang. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Okay. So, ¿por qué, cabrón? Does that work? No? Slang Spanish, you know? Okay. We're just going to keep moving. All right. But what I think is very interesting right now, he is in a very low point right now. I think we can all agree on that. I mean, some of y'all might not skibbity. Yep, skibbity. The hell's that? Skibbity toilet. Skibbity mother loving toilet. Is that? Skibbity Ohio. Riz. What is that? 6'7" Skibbity Ohio Riz. What in the hell is any of that? Kazoon tight. No? That don't make sense to me, okay? But what does make sense to me is that they did a DNA test. They found out that Hitler has a small penis and has one ball and has schizophrenia and that he was all jacked up. Okay? That makes sense. 6'7" Skibbity Doo-Wop Ohio Riz does not make any sense. What the hell? By the way, what I was talking about with the funny mustache man, that be true. Mm-hmm. That is true. But I digress. We got to get into this conversation. Diggity damn. No, when I read that this morning, that I was lighter on my feet for the day when I heard that about the funny mustache man. I was like, oh, yeah. And he was, do you suffer from erectile dysfunction? You know what I mean? It was like, oh, that's why he was so angry all the time. 9! That makes total sense why he was so angry all the time. All the time. That makes total sense. It be tiny and it don't work. You know what I'm saying? It's like, he's like, okay. Oh, scheiße. Okay, my love. You ready? 9! Yeah. Just sitting there, shriveled up like a wiener schnitzel that's been on the grill a little bit too long. Just not even worth it. Just let it be. Now I get why he's so filled with rage. He literally was the first incel. Oh, I got jokes today. Oh my God. But hey, it's fun to roast somebody as hateful and disturbing and disgusting like the funny mustache man, right? Okay. But yeah, he had no weed whacker. Okay. It wasn't even, there was no weed. He was not whacking no weed. He couldn't even reach the sidewalk. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like a minute, like, you know what I mean? Like, he had to get all the way down to the ground. Like, you know what I'm saying? No one gets that. Okay. We're going to continue on because we could do penis jokes all day long about funny mustache man. He deserves it though. He deserves it. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, we'll stop with the funny mustache man. But here's the thing, okay? Trump has been refusing to take any questions. He has been radio silent on social media. He has just been he just went dark. It's weird, okay? It's very weird. It's not normal for him to just go dark. We're used to him being out here retaliating. Even if it's fake news, he'll be the first one to come out and go, fake news. Democrats, those damn Democrats. But now it seems like his feelings have been completely obliterated. You know what I'm saying? It's okay, though. He'll come back. Watch. He will. He's all about revenge. He's all about, you know what I mean? If they screw you, you screw them back harder. So he might come back bigger and better than ever before, right? Give it time. But it's very interesting, though, because now, like I said, he's been out here. Y'all. He's refusing to take any questions at all. Take a look at this ish.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Mr. President, are you prepared to negotiate with Democrats now?
Mr. President, on Jeffrey Epstein.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for knowing.
Mr. President, can you respond to these Epstein emails that were released today?
Well done, Mr. President.
Done.
Good try.
You know what's crazy about this? We're going to play it again because it happens so damn fast. But you notice, right? You notice that they're like, thank you. And everyone's like, Jeffrey Epstein. You hear it in the background. Jeffrey Epstein. And everyone's, and his handlers are all like, thank you. Over and over again, like they didn't get the memo. You know what I'm saying? But take a look.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Mr. President, are you prepared to negotiate with Democrats now?
Mr. President, on Jeffrey Epstein.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for knowing.
Mr. President, can you respond to these Epstein emails that were released today?
Well done, Mr. President.
Thank you. And then you see the girl in the beige, little jacket, the blazer, going back and forth, like, thank you. It's like, we get it, damn. And this was the moment when they signed when he signed the agreement, the bill, so that they can open up the government again, which obviously is great news. So, planes won't fall out of the sky anymore. People can go back to mother-loving work, which is all fantastic work, fantastic news. But at the end of the day, he's refusing to talk to anybody. This isn't the only event that he was at that he has just been refusing to talk to anybody. It's pretty insane. Okay. So we're going to pull this one up too, because it's another one. He's literally sprinting out of the meeting, sprinting out of this event where he's supposed to be, talking with people and, get asked questions and be presidential. And he's not doing that right now. He's refusing to that. Take a look. Out the dough. What we're used to seeing. He's like, hell to the no. I got better things to do. You know what I mean? Gone. And it's funny how reporters still are trying. God bless them, though. You know what I mean? They at least trying, right? They're like, so can you tell us about Jeffrey Epstein? Okay. Mr. President, can you tell us a little about Epstein? Okay. Excuse me, Mr. President, can you tell us about okay. He's not going to answer anything right now. Why? Why, you ask? Because he's not a good mood. He didn't want these emails to come out, guys, for various reasons. Here's the thing. Okay, we've heard from Ghislaine. Okay, she's like, I saw nothing nefarious from Trump. He was an absolute gentleman. Yet she is being weighted on hand and foot. Okay, she is being treated like royalty inside a mother-loving prison. Okay, I need to look up the breakdown because there's a video where somebody actually breaks it down. Okay, like she says that, or they say that she gets special types of meals. She gets escorted to the gym after hours. She also has certain types of foods and stuff for people who actually show up to see her in prison. I'm not kidding. She really is like straight up having guests meet her. You know, they're coming to visit, you know, and the guards will go over and drop down like what, grapes and fresh bananas or some crap for her guests. She's being treated like absolute royalty, locked up. Why? Why is she getting this treatment? Hold up. We're going off the beaten path for a second, but I am kind of curious as to why. Why is she getting all this special treatment? Hold on. Let's see. Let me see this. Let me see if I can find it. Yep. Let's take a look at this.
A whistleblower is telling the top Democrat
Crazy.
on the House Judiciary
Take a look at this.
Committee the Jeffrey Epstein accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, is getting special treatment in prison and actively preparing a commutation application. In a letter from Congressman Jamie Raskin addressed directly to President Trump, Raskin says the whistleblower at Maxwell's new prison camp alleges that her extraordinary treatment includes customized meals delivered directly to her, visits to the prison exercise area after hours with a prison guard escort, and even access to a service dog in training to play with.
So she gets a dog to play with. Real talk. The groomer gets a dog to play with. Please explain that to me. There's more, though. She gets a service dog in training to play with. Real talk. She gets to roll around with Fido, right? She gets all this special treatment. Why is she getting this special treatment again, guys? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? Why? But why? Why is she getting this special treatment? I don't get it. Please explain it to me. I don't get it. This is bull. This is bull crap. Why does she get special treatment? Can somebody say it for me? I don't need to say it. I know you guys want to say it. So why does she get the special treatment again? Huh?
This whistleblower also claims that one top prison official complained that he is, quote, sick of having to be Maxwell's B-word.
Bitch.
I'll note that CNN has not independently verified the whistleblower's claims, but my source on this tonight is Congressman Jamie Raskin. And Congressman, on this whistleblower, I think a lot of people want to know what else they had to say to you.
Well, the whistleblower made clear that Ghislaine Maxwell is just in a completely different category than every other prisoner. She gets essentially room service behind bars. She can use the shower. She can use the gym whenever she wants to. She gets special treatment there. And unlike other prisoners who have to communicate with people outside of the prison through the unreliable and very slow mail system, she's actually getting messages sent through the warden to the people that she wants to communicate with, and the warden is actually offering her the opportunity to communicate on legal matters with people outside of the prison through the warden. So it's a pretty extraordinary situation. Of course, her presence in that camp facility itself is completely astonishing, given that they had never had a sex offender before, and sex offenders were not allowed in that camp. But she was allowed in, and she got in pretty much on an overnight basis after she met with Todd Blanche. She was subpoenaed by the Oversight Committee on July 23rd after a vote on July 22nd, and it was on July 24th that Todd Blanche, who had been Donald Trump's personal criminal defense lawyer, now working for the DOJ as the #2 person, went over to meet her, not in order to find out what she knew in terms of getting other people to be investigated who were involved in the $1.5 billion international child sex ring, but rather to find out what she would say about Donald Trump. And he pronounced himself satisfied when, she said that she had never seen Donald Trump in any compromising position with young women or girls. In fact, she'd never seen Epstein in some compromising position with underage women or girls. So anyway, he liked what he heard, and then suddenly she got this transfer.
That doesn't make any earthly sense. I mean, I get him breaking it down like that. That is the timeline, okay? That she said, I saw nothing. He was an absolute gentleman. I saw nothing nefarious. He was absolutely kind, and I never saw him break any law. So, of course, Todd Blanche, of course, Deputy Attorney General, and Trump's lawyer. Let's not forget. We can't forget that. Okay? His lawyer says, oh, I love that. I love it. Thank you so much for saying what you said. We're going to give you an upgrade. Why does she deserve an upgrade? Why? Of all people, why does she deserve an upgrade? Someone explain that to me. No, not the obvious. We already know the obvious. Don't say the loud part out loud, because we already know the loud part. I'm saying, why does she even deserve anything for just saying what she said? You understand that this mugshot says so many different things now to me. You know what this mugshot looks like to me now? If you could read her eyes, she said, I got these mother lovers now. I got these mother lovers. You know what I'm saying? You don't see it now? I see it. I see that look in her eye. That look in her eye is like, I got this mother lover now. They are in my hands. Putty. Literally. Now I see this whole mugshot a completely different way now. Completely different. She's winning. She got what she wanted. Now she is trying to find a way to get commutation, y'all. Yeah. Someone who was the Robin to Epstein's Batmans, okay, is trying to milk this for everything it's worth. Why? Because Trump doesn't want this information out here at all. This is a big, bold-faced cover-up like we've never seen before. Here's what's interesting about this. Here's the thing. Let's just entertain this for a second, because I know all of us have our personal opinions about all this, all right? We all do. Some of us are on the side of like, this is all one big hoax, and they believe what Trump has been saying. This timeline right here, the breadcrumbs that lead to where she is now and how she's being treated behind bars, how she's being treated like the high priestess, okay, of that whole entire freaking jail, that prison, is absolutely beyond me, but it tells me a specific story. But we're going to take that story and we're going to table it. We're going to put it over on the side. Let's just talk about this for a second. Let's just act like Trump is innocent. Hold on. Let's just talk like he is innocent right now. Okay? Why? If he has nothing to do with any of these women or, you know, his connections with Jeffrey Epstein, nothing nefarious or anything like that, why would he still go out of his way to cover this stuff up in the first place? Someone please tell me that, give me that answer. Who's he trying to protect? And please miss me with the nonsense of like, oh, you know, he's just trying to protect America. Sorry, but that's like wet toast to me. All right. It just doesn't make sense. All right. It's either wet or it's toast. You see what I'm saying? So here's the thing. Why would he do that? To cover up other higher ups or other people that maybe bankrolled him or anything of that sort? Why would he do it? See, I can't answer that fully either. Real talk, I can't answer that question. Because the only answer that I have is that something had to have happened that he was involved in, and he is scared about that coming out. And that is it. And then, yes, there's plenty of other people. Because let me think about this too. What about like Bill Clinton, the Clintons in general? What about all the other people that were involved? I mean, let it all come tumbling down. Now, I know, hold on. I know a lot of people are going to sit there and say this other question too, which makes sense. I even heard Stephen A. Smith say the same doggone question, which I was surprised he asked the question, but it is a logical question. If this was all damning information, why didn't this information come out in the first place? Why didn't this come out, during the Biden era? But then I asked the same question of why didn't it come out during the Trump era? Right? So something big is going on. And I will say this is a bipartisan situation. There are evildoers on both sides of the fence. So as much as everyone's trying to take this, like for those of y'all who are obviously politically biased, all y'all that are getting all up in your feelings about how this is taking down Trump. In fact, if you really think about it, this could take down so many people. So many people. Okay? This could take down so many people on both sides of the political aisle because he played both sides. That's what Epstein did. So everybody's screwed. So why would he sit there and do that? Why? Why would Trump try to cover it all up? Unless it's just like, okay, I don't want everybody screwed. Then there will be absolute anarchy in the streets. And if that's the case, then I don't know. I say, shoot, let the chips fall where they may, and let's find out what's really going on here in hopes that there won't be anarchy in the streets. But first, you need to be truthful. And if you have access to the truth, get the truth out here. You have 60 plus women that said that they were, plus multiple women that have said that they were SA'd or, you know what I mean? Crimes were committed against them under the guise of Epstein. Why have not any of them been screwed over, thrown the book at them, thrown the library at them? Why hasn't justice been served? We're slowly seeing something with Andy, or he used to be called Prince Andrew, but now he's just straight up Andy, right? But that's him so far. Oh, by the way, we're finding out that photo, that infamous photo where they said, he even said himself, oh, that photo's fake. That's photoshopped. Oh, no, it's real. Like we already knew that. Come on now. That photo with Prince Andrew and Virginia Giuffre, that photo be real though. Yet he was out here trying to make it sound like it was photoshopped. So again, this photo, this mugshot right here, trust me, she is the fiddle player and Trump is the fiddle. Let's continue.
In some compromising position with underage women or girls. So anyway, he liked what he heard, and then suddenly she got this transfer.
Yeah, and we've asked the White House about that and Todd Blanche himself. But can I ask you on the whistleblower, did you speak to this person directly?
Well, I don't want to get into any more depth on it, but I would say this is a person who is in a position to know everything that was reported to us.
And do you think there's more
Absolutely
to come
in a
out
position to know.
about how she's being treated or the treatment she's getting, I should say?
I do. Well, one of the other things that came up was that Ghislaine Maxwell is actively seeking a commutation, a pardon from the president right now. And I learned from somebody else, a Republican, that there's a lot of chatter that, he just pardoned 77 people who participated in different ways in his attempt to lie about the 2020 presidential election, his attempt to overthrow the election. And all of that, some people are seeing as a smokescreen to get people talking about that, because none of these people are facing federal prosecution. They've already been disbarred or faced other kinds of charges. But all of that is really meant to distract people from what may be a pardon forthcoming for Ghislaine Maxwell.
With us now is Jennifer Freeman. She's an attorney who represents.
So let me pause that really quick, okay? Because that's all we needed to hear, okay? So now she is trying again right now. She is trying again right now to get pardoned. You realize that, right? This is absolutely crazy. Absolutely knuckin' futz, all right? But again, are we surprised that she's trying to get pardoned right now? I'm not really that surprised, okay? But there's more. There's more. We got to hear what Caroline Leavitt had to say about the possibility of Ghislaine Maxwell getting pardoned. Let's take a look at this. The balls on Ghislaine Maxwell, by the way. It's like they're already feeding her grapes. Literally, feed me grapes. Yes. You know what I mean? She's already getting special treatment. For crying out loud, she probably has a hot tub in her damn cell. All right? And a sauna. Okay? And now she's like, oh, now I need commutation. Now I need to be let free. But then these emails dropped. I just don't think he's going to pardon her. Yet he has pardoned many, many of people. J6ers to Giuliani to a whole bunch of other people. The only person that he hasn't pardoned yet is what's his name? Joe. What's his name? Joe something. The Tiger King. He's so far the only person that I have not heard him do pardon yet. I figured he would pardon him by now, Tiger King, but he hasn't done that one yet, which is interesting. But take a listen to this.
Stephen, go ahead.
Well, if the president is considering a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell.
Again, he's answered this repeatedly. It's not something he's talking about or even thinking about at this moment in time. I can assure you of that.
By the way, that doesn't answer the question. Let me repeat that one more time.
Stephen, go ahead.
Well, if the president is considering a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell.
Again, he's answered this repeatedly. It's not something he's talking about or even thinking about at this moment in time. I can assure you of that. Stephen.
Let me just say this. She does not answer the question. Also, Trump hasn't really answered the question either. He has not. He's been like, I didn't know. I've been looking in, I'm going to have to look into it. Whatever. He's been saying that, but he hasn't been saying like, oh, yeah, hell no. And I hope she burns in hell. No, he doesn't say anything like that. He hasn't said anything like that, y'all. Not a damn thing like that. So she said, for her to answer it that way, that doesn't answer the question. A flat out no, a simple 1-syllable, 2-letter word would have done just fine right there. No. Next question. That's it. Is he going to pardon her? No, he's not. Moving on. That's open and shut, right? Here's another one.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. And this email you refer to with the name of a victim that was unredacted now and has since been reported on in this room, so I will go ahead and say it, Virginia Giuffre. And it was CBS's own reporting, Ouija, that recently wrote that Miss Giuffre maintained, and God rest her soul, that she maintained that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her. And so I think it's a question worth asking the Democrat Party, and you should all go ask them after this briefing, of why they chose to redact that name of a victim who has already publicly made statements about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and is unfortunately no longer with us.
You know what's interesting about this? Let me tell you something. I'm gonna give her props. I'm gonna give her credit where credit is due. Because her job, let's be real, her job is hard. This is not an easy job. Okay. Like, you gotta be on your P's and Q's. You gotta be on it. I don't know what kind of Adderall she on. I don't know if she drinks, like, she straight up mainlining coffee all day long, but she is on it all the time. And a lot of it's BS. I'm going to be real. A lot of it like that is BS. You know, she is very good at, you know what I mean? How she does it, I don't know how she does it. I really don't know how she does it, but it is a skill. Okay? I will give her that. But we already know that this is BS, right? We all know that this is BS. It's talent. Oh, she talented. She good at this. She good. And I'm wondering, how do you figure out that you're good at that? You know what I'm saying? How do you figure out that you fire at like pumping out BS? You know what I'm saying? How do you figure that? What makes you realize, ooh, I'm good at the BS? I'm good. I need to do this for the president. Like, how do you do, like, you know what I'm saying? I need to do this for the White House. Because, you know, they all do it. Okay, they all BS. If it's Biden's administration, if it's Obama's administration, they all BS. Okay, they're all full of BS. But I just think it's very interesting that, you know, how on a dime she boop, and she has the answer for that right then and there. Well-trained young squire, well-trained young squire. I'm very impressed, but at the same time, it's still BS. It's still just nothing but BS that's coming out of her mouth. True. There are some truths of what she's saying. True, it doesn't show that he did something wrong. Sure, in those emails. But what he did wrong, it's the fact that he lied. He lied to the American people. That's the big problem here, guys. He freaking lied. Now, things have been getting very, very bad. We got to take a quick left turn here, really quick, okay? And we got to talk about Matt Gaetz. Yeah, if you don't know who Matt Gaetz is, well, he's something. He's something. There was a lot of allegations back in the day with Matt Gaetz when he was in office, okay? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he goes, I must step down. I have to resign. Right? He just steps down out of nowhere because there was allegations about him with littles. Okay? And now it's coming to fully bite him in the ass. We got to jump into this. Like I said, I do a lot of coverage in these shorts. I did a conversation about this in a short. All right? But now we're finding out that it was a 17-year-old girl that he did the hibbity-dibbity with. Then he paid her $400 for services rendered. Then he went back. He did it with her twice when she was 17. Then she came back. She continued to have relations with him, but she was having these kind of events or these moments, these inappropriate relations with the likes of Matt Gaetz at events that were filled with powerful men. That was weird. Powerful men. Like I said, it feels a little Epstein-y, don't you think? Now, I'm not sitting here saying that Matt Gaetz and Epstein and all that. I'm not saying all that, but I'm just saying, isn't it interesting that this was at an event with a bunch of rich, powerful men? Matt Gaetz is there. A minor is at a party. A little is at a party that she shouldn't even be at, And next thing you know, she bumping uglies with this man, then getting paid $400 for her time. Now, apparently she was trying to raise money. She was homeless. She was trying to raise money for braces, if I'm correct. All right. And Matt Gaetz was more than happy to pay her for services rendered, so much that he kept paying her. She would go back and he would pay her again and pay her again. And apparently Matt Gaetz had a thing for a lot of women and paying thousands upon thousands of dollars to women at these particular parties and these particular events, doing all kinds of blow. Yeah. 17-year-old even says, as she testifies, which made him have to step down. That's why he's on Newsmax now. Is he still on Newsmax? I think he still is. But anyway, he might not after this, okay? But he's up there. She sees him, witnesses him doing the booger sugar and bumping uglies with all kinds of women. Ain't he married too? Yeah, I think he's married too. But yeah, Debbie, just a whole bunch of snow. Informer, ziggity boom boom now. Okay, whole bunch of snow. All right, and having relations with prostitutes. Yeah. All the while, he's been married to have and to hold. Right, richer for poor. Till death do they part. He was still knee deep in a whole bunch of women. Yeah. He was having his hands in a whole other cookie jar, actually a series of cookie jars, all kinds of different cookie jars, to be honest, including this 17-year-old girl that testified and caught his ass. Let's take a look at this, shall we? So he responds to this. He denies any wrongdoing. We already know what he's going to say, right? We already know what he's going to do and what he's going to say. The response is, I didn't do it. I'm innocent. I didn't do nothing, man. This is a hoax, man. They try to take me down, man. You did this, Ish, bro. You did this, Ish. How dare you take advantage of a young, impressionable, desperate, homeless young girl, period. Take a look. Former Representative Matt Gaetz declined allegations that he had relations with a 17-year-old girl after newly unsealed court records and testimony detailed her account and the vulnerable circumstances that led her into contact with the Florida Republican. She is now an adult, obviously, but she described or was described in documents reported Thursday by the New York Times as a homeless high school junior who met Gaetz in 2017 through associates involved in a broader STing investigation. A House Ethics Committee report later concluded there was substantial evidence Gaetz violated Florida's statutory R laws, even though the Justice Department declined to bring charges. So the DOJ even swept this piece of trash and these charges under the rug. Interesting, don't you think? I'm just going to let that sink in for a second. Gaetz told the Times Thursday via text message that her account was fiction, insisting he never had relations with her and accusing her of attempting to extort him. He said, I never had relations with this woman. Oh, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? I did not have actual relations with that woman, right? When it's actually a lie. Bill. But anyway, I never had relations, the hibbity-dibbity with this person. This person threatened me with a lawsuit if I didn't pay her $2.3 million. She never sued me because her story is fiction. Interesting. There he is. Now, here's the thing. I'm just gonna keep it a bean with y'all for a second, okay? Let's talk about this. If what he claims is true, why did he step down? If that is true, why did he step down? Now he's just a pundit. I'm not saying anything bad about that. I mean, rock the mic if you want. Go ahead, bro. But at the same time, he ain't no representative anymore. Last I checked, if I remember in this right here. Oh yeah, it says right here, former representative. So he's not a representative anymore, like I said before, because he stepped down because of all this BS that was going on. Because him guilty. But he's sitting there going, it's a shakedown. She was trying to take $2.3 million from me, man. If you really were innocent, why did you step down, sir? Can somebody answer that for me? Yes, Cindy said it all the way from Facebook town. Okay, because he did it. Whoops. Because he did it, man. Okay. Hands all up in the cookie jars, in multi-cook cookie jars. Okay. And the powdered donuts. Okay. Nose deep. Actually, ears deep in them powdered donuts. Okay. He's powdered donuts. I'm telling you right now. I can't feel my face, man. Yeah. That's him. At parties with other very successful, powerful mans. I'm starting to think nowadays that politicians party harder than rock stars. The only difference between rock stars and politicians and how they party is that one's covered in tattoos and probably hasn't showered in 3 days, and the other one is in a power suit or pumps and a power suit with like a skirt thing. Okay, one's wearing jeans and another one's wearing like Tom Ford. Ain't that interesting? They party just as hard. It's just different. They're talking about like, I need my inspiration, man. Like I need inspiration, bro. Right? And they're talking about bills and legislations and you know what I mean? This is what they're talking about in between lines. And no, I'm not talking about like, what's my line? Line, please. Like they're on a stage. No, we're talking about other lines. Powdered donuts. So again, something's weird with this whole thing, okay? I'm just going to keep it a bean. Something's very, very weird. And something nefarious definitely went down. Why, like I said, why is Matt Gaetz not a representative anymore? I think that's a fair question to ask. And I think all of us want to know that. Why? But here's another thing that just happened. I think that's very strange and we need to talk about it. I was going to show you two different ones, but one of them I have to edit the hell out of because it's really, really jacked up. Okay. But before we go into the interview that I want to show you guys here in just a little bit. Okay. That's the next thing we're going to be talking about. I promise. But here's something that I think is very interesting. Okay. So Megyn Kelly, I don't really talk about Megyn Kelly on this show very much. Okay, she sprinkles in and out every once in a while, but I talk more about like what Candace Owens is saying because Candace Owens be Candace Owensins, you know what I'm saying? But Megyn Kelly did something that is just absolutely insane to me. Now I gotta say this. I gotta say it. Okay, because after the Epstein emails started coming out, everybody's scrambling to Trump's defense. Okay. Some people who are just hardcore MAGA. And, I get it to a certain extent, but you don't defend him this way. Be prepared, because this is absolutely crazy. I've never, like, she has said some dumb things in this world. Okay, her stance on blackface and stuff like that, and how Santa is supposed to be white and only white and all that stuff, which we could have a whole conversation about whether, Santa's supposed to be white or black and whatever. We could have that debate all day long. I don't give an F. But she has said some dumb things in the past, but this is probably the dumbest thing she has ever said on any platform ever. Roll the film.
As for Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like, he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into like 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby.
Okay, first off, I need to bathe myself. Okay, like, I literally want to bathe myself, because I feel filthy hearing it again. I felt filthy when I heard it the first time, but now I feel filthy for hearing it the second time. Now I feel okay. But let me explain something here. Okay, let me just not explain something, but I'm going to ask this question. If it was a friend that said that, why did you bring it up in the first damn place? Why was it needed to be brought up in this conversation? We're not even done yet. We got a whole other minute of this crap to listen to. But I'm just saying, why even bring it up? If it was a friend of a friend, or a friend of mine said, what kind of friend is that? What kind of friend? What kind of source is that? Why are they even saying that? Why? Do you realize how much that's a moving of a goalpost? You see what I'm saying? Like, what in the F is that? What makes you think that's okay to come out of your mouth? In no way, shape, or form should anybody be trying to defend anything that Epstein said in an email. I don't care if he was best friends with Trump and Trump's getting in trouble and he's got a lot of explaining to do. This is a level of stupidity I've never seen. This is not good. Like I said, this is just as, if not worse. This is worse. No, it's up there. No, it's up there. It's up there. It's like, it's neck and neck. Okay. This is insane. Moving the goalpost. What, for a win? For a win that you're not going to get? People are going to side-eye you while you are trying to get to the end zone. They don't even want to touch you right now. That's why you're getting over here, though. That's why you get into the end zone. They're like, ew, go. What did you just say? Whose friend is this?
And that is what I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years. And it wasn't until we heard from Pam Bondi that they had tens of thousands of videos of alleged, forgive me, they used to call it kiddie porn. Now they call it child sexual abuse material on his computer, that for the first time I thought, oh, no, he was an actual pedophile. I mean, only a pedophile gets off on young children abuse videos. She's never clarified it. I don't know whether it's true. I have to be honest. I don't really trust Pam Bondi's word on the Epstein matters anymore. Yeah, so I don't know what's true about him, but we have yet to see anybody come forward and say, I was I was under 10. I was under 14 when I first came within his purview. Look, you can say that's a distinction without a difference.
No, it's not.
I think there is a difference. Yeah. There's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. Yeah. You know, it's just whatever.
So that happened. That whole conversation came out of her mouth. Man. Why? Like, why? Why did it come out of her mouth? Why did that happen? With all due respect, like I said, there's some things that she has said in the past that I've agreed with. I'm not going to sit here and say that, that I don't, I listen to everybody. Like I told you, I listen to everybody. I listen to a lot of different people. I want to hear different sides of things, different takes, blah, blah, blah. So I stumble onto her stuff every once in a while, and I'll listen to her things. But this right here is called crap. I don't know why she said any of that. I don't know why she said any of that. Someone please explain to me why she said that. And then it's like, whose friend is trying to explain to you the difference between certain age ranges? And how's that conversation starting? How do you start that conversation with somebody? Just so you know, when it comes to littles, there's a difference between the little littles and then the not so little, but they look little, but they're not little, but they look little. And guys love that too. Like, where's that conversation happening in any history of conversations? That's weird, y'all. That's weird. And it's like, oh, you're just coming to the defense of the EpiPen. What in the hell? And yeah, Debbie, it's like she's trying to normalize it. And here's the thing. It's not normal. It's funny because I remember back in the day, there was a TED Talk where somebody was trying to say PDF stuff should be considered a sexual orientation. Like whether you're straight or gay or, you know what I mean? Any of that stuff, it should be in those categories as well. That it should be normal. That's insane. Should not be normalized. It is not normal. It is not okay. It is absolutely jacked up. Okay? This is not something that is okay. Okay? Not okay. And disturbing. And the fact that she said that is surprising to me. Don't get me wrong. She has been canceled before. I'm not trying to say that she should be canceled. I just don't think that she was fully educated in what she said here. Okay? Just being completely real. Being completely freaking real. But my God, there's going to be a moment where she's going to wish she had not said that. And then also, I feel bad for the person, like real talk, whoever she's sitting next to, what kind of, like, how are you supposed to react to this? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're in the same, like, what do you do? Like, oh God, she's going there. Oh, okay. Like, how do you, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do with that? How do you answer to that? How do you have an actual conversation with that? That's messed up, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't agree with that. Like, you just don't bring that stuff up and then try to justify it by bringing up CSAM and all that other stuff, right? And there's a difference of the such and such. He liked the ones that were not so big, but they look big, but they're not so big. Like, that's. I'm sorry, that's insane. That came out of her mouth. That came out of her mouth. Holy sugar! Crazy, man. Crazy. But hey, there are going to be people out here. Like, I'm going to tell you this really quick. Okay. I need to tell you guys this. All right. So what had happened is that there's another video that's circulating all over the internet right now of Dean Withers. Now, if you don't know who Dean Withers is, he's like he's a liberal commentator, and he does he does a live like TikTok. And he'll have people who call in onto his show talking about all types of different stuff, right? And recently, if I'm correct, maybe it was like last night that this happened. Somebody called into his show, and I'm not going to show you guys the video because I gotta bleep a bunch of words out. But a guy calls in and tries to justify why. How can I say this? SAs of littles is okay. I'm not kidding. So he's in this phone call, and this guy's trying to justify it because they're having a whole Epstein conversation. And then this guy is calling up and basically trying to justify how it's okay for it. He's like, why is it not okay? And he's actually asking Dean this legitimate question. This thing is going viral right now. And how Dean reacts is exactly how anybody who knows that that kind of stuff is not okay is reacting. He's like, holy cow. He's like, I can't even, he didn't say it like this, but in my mind, I'm like, he can't even answer this question. No one should have to answer that question. You see what I'm saying? No one should even answer that question. And yet it's a question that was asked to him. And he's like, what? What in the hell are you on? No, I'm not. I'm not answering that. That's insane. And then he goes, once again, people trying to move the goalpost so that certain people still look good. But welcome to our world. This is the world that we live in. We live in a world in which that kind of stuff always happens, right? Something bad happens. We see it with our own two eyes. And yet someone, some leader, some prominent figure will step forward and say, no. What you saw was not what you saw. And a certain portion of the world will actually go, you know what? You're right. What we saw was not what we saw. You're right. Right? Those emails are bad. Those emails show that Trump is lying and that he lied to all of us. Whether you like it or not, I'm not sitting here saying that he did anything with any girls. I'm saying that he lied to the American people and has continued to lie. That is a massive big deal, in my personal opinion. That part I have a problem with. And that also shows to me, all these emails show me that there is most definitely a cover-up going on, because it's not only just Trump that I have beef with. I have beef with Pam Bondi. I have beef with Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and anybody else that's been spearheading and trying everything they can in their power to squash, or if not, sweep a whole bunch of things under the rug, because they don't want to make Trump or the Trump administration look bad. But when you got all of them lying in unison, no one's going to trust this administration anymore. No one's going to trust anyone inside that White House anymore. That's the problem. They had multiple opportunities to step forward and put this stuff out. They did. And remember, Trump's the one in the very beginning saying, we're going to drain the swamp. He did. No one else said that stuff. No one. We damn for sure never heard that from Hillary Clinton. We damn for sure never heard that from anyone on the Democrat side. We didn't hear not one damn thing from anybody, even Biden. Let's just say that he's the one who brought it up. And then when it came to the time to actually present the proof, they said, oh yeah, that stuff doesn't exist. And then Trump tried to backtrack as best as he could, basically insulting all of our intelligence, saying that we're dumb for even asking questions. You realize how messed up that is, right? That's completely jacked up. Making it look like our whole brains, all of our brains are cooked, and we have just been, this was a Mandela effect. Whatever he said didn't exist. You know, it's not Berenstain Bears, it's Berenstain Bears, right? The hell's wrong with you? It's been that way the entire time. What are you talking about? Right? Fruit of the Looms, it doesn't have a little basket. It's just the fruit. It's all a Mandela effect. The hell is wrong with you? Just like I didn't say nothing about no draining the swamp. What's wrong with you? Yes, it's the gaslight of the freaking century. And now it's all coming back to bite him right in the ears. And yet he has supporters out here, diehards, that are mad that the country is reacting in the way that they're reacting. He lost a lot of supporters and a lot of love when Pam Bondi started lying for him. Come on now. Come on now. Just saying. Just saying. But now we got to get into this because I know this is long overdue. But I'm glad you guys were letting me like talk these things out. You know, this is the show. You know what I mean? We're just having fun. It's a late night show kind of thing. All right. We are going to speed up the video just a tad so we can get as much as we can in a short amount of time. But he says a lot in here. He has a lot to say. And this is from Daily Beast. So shout out to Daily Beast. This is Michael Wolff. And some of y'all might be wondering who Michael Wolff is. Michael Wolff, okay? He's 72 years old. He has worked with at numerous publications in his decades-long career in writing and publishing. During his tenure as a columnist for magazines like New York Magazine and Vanity Fair, he has covered a variety of topics, including politics, power players, and the New York media scene. So this particular interview is with Daily Beast, and I think this is going to be a very interesting one. I'm just going to be real. I think this is going to be a very, very interesting one because he has had other interviews before, okay? He has had quite a bit to say as of recently when it comes to Epstein. Now, I want you to remember, this is the same dude, guys. This is the same dude that was receiving these emails. Remember, I just did a pop-up video. I know not a lot of people saw it or watched it, and that's okay. Okay, I forgive you. I love you. But here's the thing. In that email, Jeffrey Epstein was doing a full-on email to himself. He did like a quick breakdown of everything. It was almost like this vomitous, like he was vomiting information into one email. And then he emailed it to himself, and then he emailed it to Michael Wolff. Michael Wolff is also the other guy who said, hey, you know, you should just let Trump hang himself. And then when he starts to get really bad and when he starts to paint himself in a corner, when he finds himself between a rock and a hard place, you can swoop in and you can use this as currency, right? You can use this as leverage. If you help him out, then he'll owe you a favor. This is the same guy, same dude that also said, just so you know, that Melania met Trump through Epstein. And apparently, the first time they ever, you know, did the funky dope loving, you know what I mean? They did it on Lolita Express. Yes, they did the Mile High Club on a nasty ass PJ. That's private jet for all you layman's out there, because if you rich, you say PJ, okay? So, yeah, she got mad and she's suing him for billions of dollars, if I'm correct. She went ham, okay? And I think he's countersuing as well. So there's already problems going on, okay, with him. He's definitely an ish disturber, to say the least. Some of y'all will look at him and say, hey, no, this is a guy, he's just as bad as any of these other guys. He might be. I don't know about that. But right now, he is standing on the side of, I got information, y'all. And it's about to blow y'all's wig back. So let's take a look at this, shall we? Michael Wolff. He's got a lot to say. Let's speed it up just a tad. Sit back and enjoy the ride.
I'm the person who sees this elemental story. Donald Trump, and I've gone through this with Epstein deep into the background. Donald Trump is the best friend of, evil. I mean, he is the best friend of a deeply, deeply diabolical person.
Well, I'm going to say I've known you for a long time. As we've often mentioned, we've known each other 25 years, and I was shocked by some of these emails. And I want to read one in particular that I was like, wow. And this is based on you sending Jeffrey Epstein an email in December 2015, on the eve of a primary debate, Republican primary debate, and it's CNN's holding the debate, and you send an email to him saying, I hear CNN is planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on air or in Scrum afterwards. He writes back, if we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it would be? And then you say, I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the House, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you. Or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him, generating a debt. Of course, it is possible when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy and he's got an Iran deal and he's a victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime.
Let's remember the entire context here.
Okay, but what I want to say is in this particular email, it sounds like you're advising a convicted pedophile about what to do, and you're colluding with him against a potential.
Well, I don't know. What emails sound like. Would one have rewritten them in hindsight? Yeah, of course. Emails always are. Oh, that's embarrassing. But remember what's going on here. I am in this. I am where no one else is. I am in proximity to a story which actually most people don't see at this point.
So in these emails, what strikes me is that you're frequently giving advice to Jeffrey Epstein about how to handle the media, how to use the media. Were you his media advisor?
No, he had. I mean, and given the fact of how badly he has managed the media over the course of his long difficulties, I would not want credit for that in any way. But this was always a major thing, and this was actually part of the reason, part of my entree here, that I knew about the media. That gave me the kind of cachet that got me a place at the table, which has gotten me the Epstein story, if anyone wanted to pay attention.
Right, so this is 2015.
Yeah, I'm the person who sees this elemental story. Donald Trump, and I've gone through this with Epstein deep into the background, Donald Trump is the best friend of, evil. I mean, he is the best friend of a deeply, deeply diabolical person, a person who is involved in, well, we now know what he's involved in.
1,000 women, trafficking 1,000 girls.
So what's interesting about this is, and I hope that she asked this question to this guy. First off, let me just say this. The fact that I'm going at 1.5 and they're still kind of talking like they're at normal speed is insane. So they're really talking slow, which is wild. It's crazy. But anyway, outside of that, I would want to ask him the question. And of course, I might be getting ahead of this. Okay. He was friends with the devil too. He was corresponding with the devil too. You see what I'm saying? And then at the same time, of course, he has been exonerated. All right. He has been released. He was on files and stuff and accused of certain things, but he's not. He was kind of released of those things as well. But you mean to tell me he didn't know anything? He had no clue? I'm just saying, it's just interesting. I would ask a lot of questions about that, but let us rock and roll.
And so what I understand at this point is that Donald Trump may become the president of the United States, and this is still in 2015 an iffy proposition. But nevertheless, a possible president of the United States has been involved for well more than 10 years, has been joined at the hip with this person, has been involved in both of these men, in every aspect of each other's lives, sharing girlfriends in their financial lives. Now, this is
he's not wrong,
and this is a moment which I think we ought to pause, because I think we're very close to the smoking gun. This is what is not only implied in my emails, but in other emails that Epstein has sent.
And by the smoking gun, what do you mean?
Well, the relationship, and remember, Donald Trump has denied this relationship. Oh, Epstein, passed him in the hall.
Well, he's calling it a Democratic hoax again. He just
well, yeah,
which of
course he will. He's called it again and again. Everything is a hoax. Everything in his life he doesn't like is a hoax. But the smoking gun is obviously, has Donald Trump been involved with Jeffrey Epstein and underage girls? Did Donald Trump know about Jeffrey Epstein's that the underage girls in and out of Epstein's house? Now, I have spoken here and in many other places about the photographs that I have seen. And Epstein, in one of these emails, confirms or says Trump knew about the girls. And he damn well did. I have seen the pictures of the girls, of again, a dozen snapshots, 3 of which I vividly remember, 2 with topless girls sitting on Donald Trump's lap.
Okay.
Yikes. Again, this is also still things that he's been saying in the past. He's already said these things before with her, with this same interviewer, with the same reporter. He said, yeah, I've seen some things. There were very explicit photos. I've seen all those things. They are burned into my brain. This is all coming from this guy. And again, is if he has all this information, I'm surprised. First off, I'm surprised that, we're only getting podcast interviews from him, that we're not seeing him on like big, like going on to like, I don't know, the likes of CNN and Fox News and all that. Like, I feel like this is a very big deal, this kind of information. But I also think that if his information, what he's saying is true, if it is true, then he needs to be protected at all costs. I know that we talked about that on the last show. But yeah, he needs to be protected for sure. Okay. Yeah, I'm still classic. I'm still surprised he's still alive. You know what I mean? I figured he would have, wilder things have happened. Okay. But this is very, very interesting. Okay.
There's another one I wanted to read to you here, which was came out in October of 2016. So just before he was being elected. There's an opportunity to come forward this week and talk about Trump in such a way that could garner you great sympathy and help finish him. Interested?
One of the things that I was focused on is trying to get Epstein to come forward. Why don't you go public with these pictures? Why don't you go public? Let me help you go public in telling your story about Donald Trump. I mean, I saw then, as I have continued to see and see every day now, that Donald Trump was unfit to be the president of the United States.
Well, hold up. I'm going to be real. I also think that he saw money. Yeah. I also think he saw an opportunity to maybe like, hey, come on, let me write your story. Let me help ghostwrite or co-write your story. And then we'll all make buckets. You'll expose Donald Trump. Yeah, you'll look like the bad guy, Epi, but you'll be laughing to the bank. And you'll get all of your truth out there for everyone to consume and read. And maybe it'll be a movie deal and all that stuff. Right? Interesting, right? But I still feel like there's part of it. Like, not only is it like, oh, yeah, I think he's unfit to be president. Then why haven't we heard anything from him? You see what I'm saying? Sure, he's written books about him later on. But I feel like, wouldn't he have stepped out a little bit more? Like, I know information, blah, 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 about how this guy is, how bad Trump is and everything. It's like, why didn't you? You know what I'm saying? This seems a little bit odd, but let me continue. Let me let him cook.
So Blue Sky and X and social media is full of journalists just saying this is completely unacceptable. This is not how you speak to a source. This is not what journalism is.
Well, these are not people who have written the kind of books that I have written. And I often make the distinction between journalists who do what they do, daily reporters, working for organizations, working within a very prescribed set of rules, and what I do. I mean, I'm a writer who manages to make relationships that let me tell a story in the ways that the New York Times or other very reputable journalistic organizations are unable to tell. I mean, I am the journalist who got into the Trump White House in those first months, for 7 months actually. I sat there and was able to write a book, that's my book, Fire and Fury, which was, I think made a substantial contribution to understanding what was going on and the utter uniqueness and out of controlness of the first Trump White House. You know, I did the same. My biography of Rupert Murdoch. Somehow I was the only journalist not in his employ who has ever spent an enormous amount of time with him, basically a year. And
what do you
and
do?
the emails, but no, I just want to make the point that if you saw the emails that I shared with Rupert Murdoch, I would be embarrassed about them. But I was able to write the book that no one has been able to write, and a book also that he profoundly hated.
All right, so I was going to ask you about that because
Yeah, I remember Fire and Fury. Y'all remember Fire and Fury? Some wild claims that were said in that book. Crazy, right? Here's the other thing too. And Allie, I'm glad you said this, because I think that to be sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, but I think sometimes to be like a really good journalist, you kind of have to be slimy too. I said it. I think sometimes to be really good at what you do, you kind of have to be a chameleon. Think about it for a second. He has the ear to one of the most notorious, disturbing freaking monsters on this planet. He's got the story or the possibility of getting a story out of that person. And he's got their ear. You don't think that he's going to sit there and go, yeah, man, like, you know, no. First off, he doesn't like Trump. It's clear as day that he doesn't like Trump, right? So he's like, no, you let him hang himself. You let him do that. But then you can use that as leverage, right? Then also at the same time, it's kind of like, well, you know, come on over here. We'll talk about this more, you know, and maybe we can turn this into a book. Maybe we can get this out. Let's get this information out. But Epstein refused to get the stuff out. Then he gave him a huge email, which was like, you know, to me, just sounding like he was trying to backtrack and he was terrified. And if you haven't seen that that video, go check out that video after this show. Okay, when you get time, of course. But we talked about this, and it's like he was giving him information. Maybe not all the information that Michael Wolff wanted, but he was trying to give him something, right? But here's the thing. Not all journalists are like this, okay? But some are. They are chameleons. They can kind of morph, or, you know, they kind of can be a little slimy. You know, they can be a little manipulative to try to get the story that they want, right? Manipulative to a point where they're not tampering with the story. Does that make sense? You know? So I see that, and I could see that in this guy here too. But I also see him like seeing this as an opportunity to make a bucket of money if he was able to actually write the book. You know what I'm saying? With Jeffrey Epstein still alive, that is. Let's continue.
You go in, and certainly Rupert Murdoch is a perfect example. You go in, you spend an inordinate amount of time with them, and they believe that you are on their side.
Slimy.
You basically go in and sort of suck up to them and
Well, let me ask the question in a
perfect example.
way. Am I acting? Am I play acting?
Right. Are you pretending?
Am I playing a role? And the answer is yes. I mean, that's what a journalist, a writer in that situation does. If you want to stay, if you want to be invited back the next day and the next day and the next day, yes. So the point is not what you say, but what you write, the story you tell. And you know, and that's always the thing that I'm constantly focused on. Tell me what you would not tell other people.
I mean,
in order to do that, you know, you got to. I think as my mother would say, you get more with a little honey.
Right. Some of the honey feels a lot when it's a convicted pedophile.
But that's not the point. Is to get the story of the convicted pedophile. I could have easily not gotten the story and could have said, you're a fucking pedophile and I can't see you anymore. But in order to get the story, and this is a story that I have told as often as I can in as many places that I can. The story of Donald Trump's relationship with this pedophile, a story that virtually, and certainly many of the journalists that I'm sure are now criticizing me, have chosen not to pick up. I've had a very, very hard time telling this story.
So you used the phrase twice in the email we started off with about let him hang himself, which turns out to have a particular resonance.
Well, the hanging here was referred to not Epstein,
No,
but
it's
to
Trump.
Trump was pretending he was someone other than who he actually is, which is, I think by wide agreement, one might say certainly the sleazeball of our time, but also I think, we could argue a criminal in his sleazeballness.
All right, so let's.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess there's a lot of people that could say that. And obviously, we've already heard Epstein even say that Trump plays dirty, that he's the dirtiest guy he knows, that he thinks that that Epstein even said in emails that he thinks that this guy is insane. That's literally what he has said in emails to other people about Trump, right? That this guy plays dirty. He will play hardball, but he plays it dirty. And that he's insane. And there's more. Oh, there's more. What else did they say? Hold on. What else is there? Epstein said, I have met some very bad people. None as bad as Trump. He said that in an email. Here's another one. I recall I've told you, I have met some very bad people. None as bad as Trump. Not one decent cell in his body. So yes, dangerous. I know how dirty Trump is. And then, of course, most likely referring to Trump's impeachment and falsifying business records. The first term. Remember the first term? Yeah. So yeah. And that's just things I just have saved on my phone. Okay. Screenshots that I have on my phone from emails that I saw and stuff. That is crazy. His best buddy saying, yeah, he's evil. He's a bad guy. But I haven't met anybody as bad as Trump. Those are things being said by Epstein, his best buddy, or once was his best buddy. You see what I'm saying? It's just crazy, guys. That's just crazy stuff. I'm not saying anything I'm not fabricating anything. These are all emails that were said by Epstein himself about his best buddy. They shared women together. Okay? Best buddy. Broke bread. Shared women. Had a great time. Just a bunch of rich boys running around having the time of their lives. And now he was also saying that this man was insane, that he was dirty, and that he had not one good cell in his body. All coming from the most devilish mother lover in the world, Jeffrey Epstein. So if he says that Trump is evil and he is diabolical, that says a lot. Okay? That says a lot.
Let's talk a bit more about your methodology in terms of when you came home from spending, a day with Jeffrey Epstein or an evening at Jeffrey Epstein's house. What did you do? Did you write notes? Did you speak into
Of course.
So you came out of the persona that you adopted when you were there?
Yes, and also most of these conversations with Jeffrey Epstein are on tape. So, as we've discussed before, I've discussed many, many places. There are hours and hours, upwards of 100 hours of Jeffrey Epstein talking about many things, but many hours of him talking about Donald Trump and his relationship to Donald Trump.
So what else is in the tapes? What else do we need to know? What other emails are going to come out with explosive revelations?
Well, I think that there's these, again, to go back to this, and this is where the focus should be. Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein had this deep relationship. They knew everything about each other, and then they fell out with enormous acrimony. But for more than a decade, that's what they were doing, and their obsession was women, girls, models. I can't make that point clear enough. It was models, supermodels, runway models, fashion models, catalog map models, girls who just wanted to be models.
Girls. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Girls. I mean, that would be the song back in the day, right? In the 80s or something like that. Yeah. That's it. Straight up. You also got to remember, if it's true, Trump never drank. He didn't drink. He didn't do any type of substances, allegedly. You mean to tell me he didn't have a vice? Every person has a vice to a certain extent. If it ain't, smoking cigarettes or working out or whatever, right? He got to have something. Women can be a vice. Women can definitely be a vice. That might be his kryptonite. Beautiful women. And he is a man of privilege. He got a lot of money. Beautiful women are attracted to that. So he probably used that a lot to his ability. And so did Jeffrey Epstein. That's why they had something in common, right? They loved women. They loved to share women. They loved to have a great time with women. Let's not forget Trump, making millions and millions of dollars. He is a millionaire at that time. He is a name. You got Epstein. He's well off as well. They can keep up with each other as far as hey, let's just go out of town today. Yeah, we'll just take my private jet. Oh, we'll take my private jet. You see what I'm saying? They could keep up with each other, right? And then they have the same tastes in women. Come on now. Best friends for that long? Something else. Let's continue. By the way, hey, really quick, guys, do me a favor though. Hit that like button down below. And don't worry, I'm going to get to the super chats here at the end of the show. Okay, I'll get to them at the very end of the show. But hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, okay? All right, and then we're going to start cooking. We're going to get through this fairly quickly. But just a quick reminder, I do have a GoFundMe going, all right? I see some of you guys donated. I really do appreciate it. We're literally $19 away from getting into the $2,000 mark. I'm trying to raise $2,200 for this rig that helped me go live anywhere. If we can just push it into 2,000, that would be awesome. Literally, it's $19. If you got $19, that would be greatly appreciated. If you don't, I understand. Okay, but anyone out there that can contribute, it's pinned to the top of the chat right now, or you can find it in the description box down below. If you can support, that would really mean the world to me. We are literally this close. We're, 9% away. Yeah, we're 91. We're 91% full. We just need to get that last 9% and we are done. And then we can get this thing and we can go have a crazy, crazy time. Okay. So if you can, I understand if you can't. Trust me, we are all trying to make $1 out of 15 cents right now. Trust and believe. Okay. But if you can support, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Okay. But let's continue on. All right. So hit that like button down below. Don't forget to subscribe. All right. But let's continue. Let's knock this bad boy out.
The Trump model agency.
Well, they all had a modeling agency, right?
Jeffrey Epstein had a modeling agency. Trump had a model. Yes. Everyone. I didn't have a modeling agency.
So you've talked about going after Trump, but how is Donald Trump, who was elected president not once but twice, worse than a convicted pedophile who, it turns out, had trafficked 1,000 girls? I mean, he was sending cars to pick up girls from
Okay, but
school.
That's Joanna. That's clear the answer, because he's the president of the United States, because he is the model of what a leader should be, of what success looks like, and so it is important. It's vital. It's required at some level that we understand the truth of who this man is. This charade. We all live in a charade.
And you are also lying to Jeffrey Epstein by trying to seduce him into telling you everything.
Joanna, there are lies and there are lies. I am not a pedophile. I am a writer. And I guess what you might be saying is, does the means justify the ends? And I would point out that the means in this instance are a kind of set of white lies. They harm no one, and they produce the end. I got this story. I am the only one. And I have been going, and together actually before the election, we released with the Daily Beast, we released a set of tapes that are much more explicit than these emails that directly connect Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein in a way that is, that I think is completely revealing of Donald Trump's character and makes the point. He was, is, and continues to be unfit to be the president of the United States, to say the very least.
So we've been inundated, as have you, with questions from journalists trying to get to the bottom of this story and to understand your methodology. We've put them together, and there's some questions here from a guy called Eric Wimple at the New York Times. I'm going to read out his questions. Just wanted to ask you if you could add any context to the emails that were released. Some seem to conclude that you are essentially outlining a strategy for blackmailing Donald Trump. This was when he was a candidate before he was president. Do you have any response to that?
Well, there's a curious thing, that's a reference to, and I say in one of those emails you can get.
Well, it's where you say you could save him generating a debt.
And the interesting thing was, this was obviously what Epstein wanted to hear, but the point was how afraid Epstein was of Donald Trump. That really was a kind of going forward thing that Epstein was fearful about what would happen to him if Donald Trump became the president of the United States.
Bang. If you noticed what I talked about in that previous video that I talked about this afternoon, where I'm like, listen, he sends an email to himself and is basically breaking down all this stuff, which I didn't fully understand, to be completely honest. I didn't fully understand why he actually put out that email to himself and then sent it to him. And it said, have fun. That was his email to Michael Wolff. To me, I'm like, I was wondering why he did that. But one of the things I thought in my mind is that I think the pressure was getting to him. I think he was getting scared. I think that he was worried about things. I think he was worried about his own life, his own livelihood. I think he was scared as hell. Okay. And then all of a sudden, he's gone. Now, there's a lot of people now that are thinking that maybe, at least the rumor mill's talking, and they're saying that maybe Trump has something to do with Epstein being bye-bye. I don't know about all that. All I know is that definitely he was terrified. Definitely he felt he was feeling the pressure. And he was locked up too. So that's not a great place to be in. He put himself in there and he deserved to be in there for sure. But I could see all that pressure just coming on to him, piling onto him. And I think he was freaking the F out. That's what I think.
Okay, so Eric has another question. It seems as though these emails are news. Did you ever disclose them in any of your pieces or podcasts or hint at them?
Well, as I've said, I haven't talked about almost nothing for the past year except my relationship to Jeffrey Epstein, and have disclosed things that I thought were much more incriminating than these emails.
Are there any other emails with Epstein that you could share to fill out the picture of your relationship?
Well, more importantly, there are 100 hours of tape. And then Eric Wimple, the next question he will ask is have I...
You mentioned that you tried to interest news outlets in the story of the Epstein tapes. How many did you pitch and how many said no? Do you have any correspondence from those interactions?
I certainly do, and everybody has been pitched. There is almost no outlet, streamers, networks, cable stations, and book publishers who has not been pitched on this story.
Well, I was going to ask
everyone saying no.
So you spent 4 or 5 years on and off with Epstein at the center of Epstein's sort of table with all the people that came to and from his house. The book never appeared. He wanted you to write a book about him after your murder.
No, but several other books did appear, which is, he became a very...
Do you mean several other books by you? Or
yes, by me. So he became a very significant source for me for my 4 books about Donald Trump. I understand Donald Trump as well as I do, partly because of Jeffrey Epstein. There are many other people and many other sources in these books, but Epstein's, I have always found probably the 2 people who have been most insightful about Donald Trump are Jeffrey Epstein and Steve Bannon, who actually curiously then became friends.
So is one of the reasons that the networks and streaming services or whatever have turned you down on this is because Jeffrey Epstein is thought to be an unreliable narrator?
I don't think so. I think the reason is that they are scared. They're scared of being sued by the Trump administration. They're uncomfortable with how to talk about this story. They don't want to see Jeffrey Epstein in in any more than that single lens through which we view him. And these tapes go all over the place. They really show a life in full. I mean, a really strange life and clearly a diabolical life. But he is something else in these tapes beyond just the man who victimized many girls. But I actually don't think that's them. I think they are afraid of what Donald Trump will do. And remember, Donald Trump has repeatedly, and every instance, turned to the media outlets, and if he doesn't like what they do, he sues them.
I know getting the story is important. Are there any lines that you wouldn't cross?
You seem to downplay the importance of getting the story, and which I would not do. Getting the story is the all important thing. But of course, I'm not going to be. Do I have to answer this?
Well,
you know the answer to this. Of course there are.
I mean, you remind me a little bit
guidelines.
of an undercover cop.
Well, I suppose in a way that I am. And in the television show, the undercover cop always has to prove himself by shooting someone who is. I wouldn't do that.
Well, that's a relief.
And let's remember what I did. I sat at a table and listened to Jeffrey Epstein and many of the other people who he invited to his table, and I often said what he wanted to hear.
His table sounded a really intriguing place to be. There were all sorts of people from world leaders. We've talked on the podcast about how you ran into the head of the Nobel Prize Committee there. You said you saw Bill Gates there, Woody Allen there, Larry Summers there. Is there a way in which you were trying to seduce Jeffrey Epstein into confiding in you, and you were also seduced by Jeffrey Epstein?
Well, no, this is. I'm not the first journalist in this position, and many journalists have talked about this and how to navigate such a situation, and the times they have failed to entirely navigate this situation. I suppose that that there were moments in which you have to stomach what you know you should not be stomaching, but you do because.
Interesting, right? Now, let me just say this, okay? I recommend you guys going and checking out the full rest of this interview, okay? Because I'm not going to play the whole entire thing. I mean, we played a good chunk of it, but all the stuff when it comes to Epstein, I feel like all the meat and potatoes of the Epstein stuff is really in the part that we just played. And here's the thing: a lot of people are asking a lot of things. I mean, I was just reading a quote here. Somebody was basically saying like, so, Michael Wolff knew that Donald Trump was just as bad, okay, as Jeffrey Epstein, okay, and then was helping Jeffrey Epstein strategize how to capitalize on it, which means Michael Wolff is just as guilty as the rest of them. And here's the thing. I mean, maybe not. We don't know the full scope. We just see an email. But that's the thing. You can say the same thing about the emails about Donald Trump too, right? There is no proof of Donald Trump committing any crimes, but there is proof nonetheless that this existed, that these emails are real, that there is a list out there. That's what I truly believe, that there is. It may not be literally a list that was written on like single, wide ruled notebook paper, okay? But there is a list out there. He was contacting multiple people. You got 23,000 emails or something crazy like that. That is enough that's a lot. That's a lot to comb through. That's a lot to figure out, right? And that's a lot of names, I'm sure, that are in those emails. I think it's not right that the Trump administration did everything they could to try to hide this. This is one of the biggest cover-ups of the century, y'all. I'm going to be real. It's one of the biggest cover-ups, at least of the decade. How's that? Because I feel like we have all these bombshells every decade. There's something big, right? And in this situation, this is like Watergate. This is worse than Watergate. If you really think about it, like, you look at Nixon, you look at Bill Clinton, right? Because he was up for impeachment, or he was almost impeached and he wasn't, right? Then you got Nixon, who actually resigned. He stepped away. He stepped down, right? Instead of actually being impeached, if I have my memory correct here. But he's like, I'm not a crook. But then he still said, I gotta go. And he bounced, right? All of those things were really bad. What's going on with Trump here? This is really bad. Okay? This is way worse. And he lied to the general public. You know? He lied to the general public. He lied to all of us about this stuff. And yet he is still out here. I'm not sitting here saying that he needs to be impeached. I leave that up to the government and what they need to do. Trust me, he's not going to get impeached. You want to know why? Because his ish don't stink. His ish don't stink. He has too many people that are on his side inside the government. He has a chokehold. He has a stranglehold on the White House. That's it. Okay? There is no way he's going to get impeached. If he does, there would have to be a massive, massive exodus. Okay? A massive exodus from MAGA. People leaving MAGA and saying, no, I'm not a part of it. I ain't part of it. Bye. I'm out. But that's the thing. There are too many people out here that are literally like he's got all of them under his thumb. Okay? Which is weird. Because if it was a different time, trust me, let me tell you this. In his first term, remember he was impeached, or there was impeachment, right? He didn't get impeached, but they tried. Oh, they tried that, right? They haven't really tried anything this time. Why? Because majority is MAGA. Majority is MAGA. And they're protecting their own. For what reason? I don't know. I don't know. Even so, after they finally made a decision to open up the doors, right? After the government shutdown was finally voted to just open the doors, right? What did Mike Johnson say at that little press conference that he had? Right after they said, okay, government, or, the House voted to open the government. And they needed to send that bill up to Trump. What is the first thing he said about that whole Epstein thing? He said exactly what Stephen A. Smith said. You guys are looking at it all wrong. These emails prove nothing. They prove nothing. They prove no wrongdoing from Trump at all. In fact, why hasn't the Democrats ever put this stuff out before? Why did they put this stuff out now? Let me tell you right now, that's going to be the rhetoric we're going to be hearing from this point on, from that side. There is no way that he is going to get impeached right now. Not off of this. He would have to be caught smoking gun evidence. Like the photos that Mike Wolff said that he has seen with his own two eyes, scantily clad women and blah, 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 and say one of them is not of age, let's just say, and Trump is in that photo, that would be enough to be like, impeach him now. But just some emails saying, yeah, he out here, right? And was friends with Epstein doesn't mean anything. Now, what's interesting is like Sidecar, what up, man? What's good, man? Yeah, he was impeached twice. I forgot about that. Man, I forgot about that. He was impeached twice, but he wasn't removed from office. Yes, you're right. So he wasn't removed from office. 2 times they tried to take him down, okay? For lesser situations. But this time, he has lied to the American people. He lied to the American people like Bill Clinton lied to the American people about Monica Lewinsky. I did not have relations with that woman. I did not have relations with that woman. Remember that? Remember that? He got impeached for that because he lied. And he's like, okay, I had relations with that woman. Cigars and my splooge on her blue dress. Devil in a blue dress, you know what I'm saying? All right. I'm going to play my saxophone. You know what I'm saying? He got impeached after that because he was caught lying. Remember all that? All because he put his hand all up in someone else's cookie jar. So again, he lied. He lied big time. Trump here in this situation, he mother-loving lied. Okay? He lied. He said he wasn't rocking with him. He didn't have anything. He told the administration, the rest of the people down underneath him, to lie as well. So all of them should be up on the chopping block. Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, Dan Bongino, all of them. All of them. Well, actually, Dan Bongino, we haven't heard much from him at all. What happened to him? Did he die? I don't know where he at, but he gone. We haven't heard anything from him. But we know for sure Pam Bondi and Cash Patel have been, in the forefront, leading the troops, if you will, right? This is all very bad, guys. Is he really going to get impeached? I really don't see it. But heads are going to need to roll. And the impeachment isn't going to happen like tomorrow. If there was to be an impeachment, it wouldn't happen until all of the files are released, which, by the way, they are coming out. But that's in seven, like it's almost like 7 business days, but like 7 long ass days. So we may not see anything until after Thanksgiving, probably Christmas time. And then even after that, there's still a process. And it would have to be very bad information in there that would expose Trump for even worse things. And that's if that stuff is in there. Remember that. Okay? Remember that. So again, this is some very interesting stuff, y'all. Like I said, crazy stuff. But yeah, I think we all we want is full unredacted Epstein files too for Christmas, Jimmy. Trust and believe. I think we all want that. All I want for Christmas is full unredacted Epstein files. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, baby. You know what I mean? Just get it all out. Mariah Carey needs to do that. Just do that version for us. For all of us that just want that. You know? Just get it out of the way. But guys, here it is, guys. First off, we got into the 2000s, which is amazing for the GoFundMe. Holy crap. Which I really appreciate. Oh my gosh. It's amazing. Let me show you guys so you guys can see it proof positive. Bad-ow. Splat out, baby. This is amazing. That's amazing. Holy crap. Holy crap. We are almost there. We are not. I just threw a pen across the room. We are 96% away from this. Holy crap. We are almost, we're a little over 109 buckaroos away. Ain't that crazy? Wow. Wow. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Man. Almost there. That's crazy. Wow. Wow. Okay, that's cool. That's very cool. That's very exciting. This is amazing. Thank you guys. Okay. But let me get to these super chats here really quick. Okay. So my Miracle Mama, thank you so much for the super sticker. Local trees, what up? Thank you so much for the laughing emoji. I appreciate it. Jimmy 2 times. Jimmy. What's up, man? Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Thanks, Pascal, for helping expose the Felon Don PDF and cronies. Well, you know, we're all doing our part, right? Been knowing he is a PDF way before he was Prez. Maxwell looking happy, like she on a Caribbean vacay. She looking happy as hell. Like I said, she's feed me grapes. That's what she's doing right now. Feed me grapes. Just leaning back, and one of the correctional officers is reluctantly feeding her grapes while cursing under his breath. Just, here's your grapes, mother. You know what I mean? He don't want to be doing all this nice crap to her. She's a prisoner. You know what I'm saying? It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. My Miracle Mama, thank you so much for being a member over 33 months. Oh, my golly. Woo! Long time. What if G-Lane, I see what you did there, gets commuted? First off, stop. We're not even going to entertain. Do you understand? Okay, let me just say this. Before we finish that part, okay, finish the whole chat comment. Let me just say this. If he does, let me tell you right now, holy cow, if he pardons Maxwell, the streets would be on fire. That's number one. Number two, número dos, he would immediately get impeached. It'd be enough is enough. Rip the Band-Aid off, time to get impeached. He would get impeached for that. I truly think that. Yes. Somebody just said, I'd have a tizzy. Yeah, the world would be in a tizzy. Yeah. Whole world would be in a tizzy. Except for the people who are like, he's MAGA. Well, who cares? It's just a woman. Just let her live her life. So what she got that pardon? You just pray to God that she lives her life in a righteous way. Now, she just got a second lease on life. That's dumb. But I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a few people like that. Everybody else is going to lose their freaking minds. I'm telling you right now, don't do it. Trump, if anything, I just want this country to win. I want us to not fight. I want us to make money. I want us all to have our I want us all to have little Aston Martins and Porsches in our garages and driveways. You know what I'm saying? I want us all to have houses, roofs over our heads, and foods in our bellies, and make babies and have a great time. I want us all to have the pursuit of happiness like we're supposed to have. Okay? Last thing I want to see on this planet and in this moment, in this juncture, is you pardoning Jizzy. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. If you listen to me at least just one time, Mr. President, don't do it. You are going to get a world of trouble after that. Tell you what, it's going to be bad. Okay? But let me finish what you said. If she gets commuted, which I hope she does not, okay, then please to do yoga with Simmons. Then chooses to blast what she really knows, what happens then? The world would go on fire. I'm telling you right then, the world would go on fire. Wait, what? Stop, I did not. Stop, I did not. Stop, I did not. Stop, I did not. Nope, I didn't. I didn't make my goal. You got me excited for a second. You got me really excited for a second there. Diggity damn. But wait, everybody's saying I met my goal. Hold on. I didn't meet my goal. Maybe it's still processing. Maybe. I don't know. Hold on. Holy crap. Holy crap. Holy crap. I just made my goal. Wow. Okay, so first off, I want to say this really quick before we go into these other super chats. Thank you to all of you guys, all of y'all who have supported this GoFundMe. This really means the world to me. You have no idea. This is something I've been wanting to get. It's just very, it's just something that I was, we're all trying to survive out here. So it really means the world to me, because now I'm going to be able to do a whole lot more and of course still do what I do here, but I'll be able to do more out Okay. And yeah, we went $40 over the goal, which is amazing. So I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you to all y'all. This means so much. And the fact that we made the goal so quickly means so much to me. Real talk. Like about 86 of y'all, if I'm correct, contributed and helped. And that means the world to me. And I'm telling you right now, as soon as we get, I'm buying it first thing tomorrow morning. I'm telling you right now. Okay. So as soon as I get it, we're going to go work. We're going to put in some work. But I am also going to give you guys, every single one of y'all, a personal shout out on the when I get the rig. You know, when I get the rig, I will definitely be live using that rig and giving you guys a personal shout out, because I just didn't think that was going to happen. So that really, I just thought it was going to be a long time. So it really means the world to me that we made it. You know what I'm saying? And now we're going to be able to do a whole lot. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of holiday events that are coming up. My plan is to be out there with that rig, to interview people, so you get to see it live. You don't have to wait for me to show it to you later. You're going to be right there with me live, right? There's going to be a lot more IRL type stuff that we can do. It's not going to be every show, but it's going to be something that I can bring to you guys on the regular. I just can't believe it's not butter right now. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Oh my Lord. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Whoa, we about to have some fun. I can't wait. Seriously, I can't wait. This is going to be so dope because, like I said, new things are on the horizon now that exists. Now that I have that, at my fingertips, or soon to be getting it. Okay. I'm very excited because I'm going to be opening up. It's going to be a whole new aspect to the show that I'm really looking forward to. Yes, we're still going to be talking about things that are going on in the world. We're still going to be doing that. It's just that I'm going to try to bring the world to us now, right? And talk to people out and try to have fun, but also give you guys the news and what the people think out here in these streets. Also, there's protests, there's demonstrations, there's events, there's just everything that I'll be able to do with that rig. And I'm really, really looking forward to doing more coverage for you guys. Really good coverage, solid, good, clean camera work, and not just my phone. You know what I mean? And my phone's great, but this is a whole other situation, and I can't wait to share with y'all. Oh my word, I can't wait. But let me get these last few super chats here really quick. So Rebel, a ride, what up? Thank you so much for the love. Okay, you're literally my favorite YouTuber. Thank you. Oh, thank you. That really means a lot. I mean, shoot, but if you guys weren't here, I'd be talking to a wall. Okay, straight up. So. And I'm already crazy, so I don't need an excuse. You know what I mean? I need to be talking to all y'all out here. Okay? So I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Jimmy, 2 times. Jimmy. Thank you so much for gifting 5 new memberships. Welcome to the family. All 5 of you guys. Okay? Thank you so much. Okay? Thank you so much for the support. Welcome to the family. All I ask for you to do is Jimmy, 2 times, Jimmy. Okay, what are you, Italian? What are you? You think I'm a clown? Are you Italian? Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy. Are you? Never mind. Anyway, please do me a favor. Jimmy 2 times just gave you some love. All I ask for you to do is pay it forward. Okay? Open the door for somebody. Make your loved one a cup of coffee. Right? Without them asking, make somebody a sandwich. And I'm not saying like, make your man a sandwich. I'm just saying, make somebody a sandwich. Jimmy 2 times would appreciate that. He'd be like, yeah. Hey, you want to give me a sandwich or something? That was the worst Italian ever, but we're going to go with it. You understand what I'm saying though. Okay. You think I'm funny? Oh, you think I'm a clown? You know, some Joe Pesci. He was short, but with a short temper. Get it? You short, the short temper. Okay. Moving on. Janobi, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. I'm late. Did you cover the Bubba photo yet? The Bubba photo. I don't know what that means, Janobi. The Bubba photo. I don't know what that means, buddy. But please explain if you're in the chat still. Meg, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Here's some gas money. So happy for you. Aw, thank you so much. The Bubba photo. I don't know. Yeah, I was we were out with what's his name? What the guy, Jimmy 2 times. Yeah, Jimmy 2 times. We were hanging out with him. Oh, EpiPen, Putin. Oh, PDF. Okay, photo. Clinton, and then the hibbity dibbity. Yes. We talked about all that. EpiPen. We didn't talk about Putin. That conversation didn't show up at all. But PDF. Yeah, we talked about all that. The photo. Well, we talked about the photo. Yes, about Trump and his. Apparently, he had like a wet spot on his pants, and girls were like apparently pointing at it and laughing at it. It's weird. Okay, and we don't know what that wet spot is. Hey, he could have spilled coffee on his leg. That's possible, y'all. But he also could have spilled a vanilla milkshake, okay? Just saying, I drink your milkshake. I drink it up. Right? Remember that? Man, do you understand? If I had t-shirts for any of these sayings, everyone would be like, this makes what are you wearing? No one would understand. No one would understand any of these sayings. Do you understand? You know what I mean? Yeah, before I go, he dribbled. Yeah, he dribbled, most likely. He didn't shake it off, But people would not get any of the t-shirts, Or if somebody jumped into the show out of nowhere and didn't get anything, they'd be like, who the F is pig vomit? Can somebody please explain to me who the F is pig vomit? You see what I'm saying? Some people won't understand that, But those of y'all who are veterans that have been watching this show since day one will totally understand who like pig vomit is, or Roberta, or Coco spilling milkshakes, hibbity dibbity, and then some. You know what I mean? You have your own slang. Yeah, I do, Sidecar Tommy. I do, I do. Because I can't say the word. Like I would say, listen, I have no problem cursing. But the thing is that's why I have the Pascal Raw show, yet I haven't done anything in damn weeks or months over there. I know. It's been busy over here. I'm trying to find time for everything. Trust me. It's just been busy. Okay? But at the same time, that's where I'm doing the cursing for the most part. It's still clean to the certain extent. I mean, I'm not saying F-bombs every 5 seconds, but over here, I'm like, yeah, I still want to kind of keep it clean. Every once in a while I'll curse, but it's very rare. You won't hear me. I might slip up and say the F word on accident, but I try to keep it fairly clean over here. But here's the thing. But that makes it so much more fun. To me, it does. You see what I'm saying? Because I get creative with the words. I get to come up with my own, it's like dribble. You know what I mean? Vanilla milkshakes, pig vomit, hibbity dibbity, weed whacker. I get to have fun You know, that's fun. Because I could just, I could say the words. You see what I'm saying? I could say the words, the curse words, but that just doesn't bring that je ne sais quoi to the show. You know? That's where I have fun. At least to me. So let me have fun. No, I'm kidding. Sorry. That was a little Jimmy 2 times there. Okay. Sorry. But yeah. The guy, oh my God. I love the TV. Yeah, Jimmy 2 times. He sold it to me. Jimmy 2 times. Down the street. He's the one with the leg. He's the one, Anyway, let's move on. I'm getting way too entertained in my brain right now this late at night. Anyway, Janobi, thank you so much again. You missed That's My Man days. I'm done. That's my man. That's my man. That stuff. Yeah. I miss it too. No, I don't. Okay. Let justice reign upon them with such fury, right? Rebecca. Jake the fake. But anyway, guys. So, Hug the Deal said Pascal needs to work on the Italian and then come to Boston. Okay. I might have to do that. Andiamo. I might have to do that. But okay, guys. It is time to get going, okay? Yeah, Sabrina, it's never a dull moment here. We try to have fun. Now imagine being able to do this out there. Beyond the wall. Out there. I'm excited about it. Holy cow. We did it. We did it, y'all. Thank you. Janobi said, I peed laughing. Stop. I'm old. I'll stop. Show's over. Okay. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to this late night show. We'll be back tomorrow for sure. There's a lot to talk about. And thank you so much for the congratulations and all that. I couldn't have done it. I didn't do it. Y'all did it. So thank you to you guys. Seriously. It really means the world to me. My Lord, I'm so excited. You have no idea. So excited. So thank you. But please do me a favor before you head out. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms, make sure you hit that follow button, please and thank you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button here on my YouTube channel. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips, and my third channel, Pascal Raw. Subscribe to those channels. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Hit that notification bell, set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, that because it's random. All right? Hit that join button down below, become a member, support the channel if you can. Check out my Patreon, and of course, check out pascalmerch.com. All right? Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much. Man, you have no idea how much this means to me. I'm really excited. Thank you guys so much for the support. And we'll be talking here very, very soon. Have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow because the news is going to continue newsing tomorrow for sure. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.